We're in sessions. Good morning, everyone. How are you? So good to see you. Oops, I've got water on me. You have a slightly rushed and sweaty version of Coach Kezza today because I went out for a beautiful walk. It's a stunning day here, and my hay fever's been on absolute high, and I just decided I had to get out for a walk in the breeze, in the air, before starting this to calm down the hay fever, get the blood flowing. And I forgot that I was supposed to take the short version of my walk. I didn't realise till halfway through a longer version of my walk, so a little bit rushed, but here I am. I'm roughly on time. Nice to see you. If you're joining me, I'm just going to do a quick check, see who's joining me. And if you are joining me live, there we are, give us a holler. Give us a holler and a wave and say hello. I want to see who's here. Yvonne, nice to see you. Okay, right, so we're making my Mexican beans today. This is a very, very, very simple recipe. Anyone can make it. I love this, and it appears in my, I probably make it once a week, to be honest, in various different forms. You can have it in wraps, like in burritos. You could, I sometimes have it with a Buddha bowl, just one of the ingredients in a Buddha bowl. You can have it just as part of a salad, like a mixed salad, a big bowl of greens, and add the beans in on top of that. You can do whatever you want. But today what I'm going to do is just make the beans themselves, and then I'm going to make a guacamole to go with it as well. So where do I start? What I'm going to start with, I have already rinsed a 400 gram tin of black beans here. I thought I'd do that before we kick off to save a little bit of time. So I'm just going to throw that in my pan, straight in my pan over here. Get that going. Pan's not on yet, we won't worry about that. And then I'm going to add juice of a lime. Now I've got about 3 limes sitting here. I'm just going to add as much lime juice to this and to my guacamole as I think it needs in terms of flavour. And it also depends on how juicy these limes are. Now, if you're not sure with what I'm doing here, I'm putting pressure onto the lime. I'm sure most of you have probably seen someone do this in the past. And what it does is it breaks up all the little, we call them the little pockets of lime, and it helps all the juice sort of spurt out of them. So it becomes easier to juice the limes. Now, I've got a lime juicer in my drawer. These things, they're great. Now, these are really large limes though. They're going to have trouble. We're going to have trouble getting that in there. They're almost like lemons rather than limes in terms of the size. I'm just going to squeeze some of that over there. And the lime juice is, I guess, almost in place of, say, an oil or something like that, but it adds much better flavour and so many less calories. So that's going to help the beans to not stick. That's essentially going to be our liquid during this cooking process. Oops, we don't want that part in there. So I'm just going to stick with the juice of 1 lime at the moment. And we're going to get that on. That's just going to go on at a low temperature. Okay. Now I'm going to show you my spice mix. All the stuff out of the way. I'm going to show you my spice mix. This is a really delicious spice blend. See that colour there? I make it myself. Now, I want you to remember this ratio. 3 cumin, ground cumin, 3 smoky paprika, 2 onion powder, and 2 garlic powder. So that's the ratio that you want to use in this mix. So what I'm going to do is I've got little half teaspoons here because this is what will fit inside my my little canisters here. And I'm going to add, I think, three half teaspoons or so. 1, 2, 3 of paprika, 3 of cumin, and you can see they are fairly generous half teaspoon sizes there that I'm adding. So, you know, don't get too precise. This is, we're not baking. So 3 of those, and then 2 of each of these. 1, 2 of the onion powder. And then, oops, 1 and 2 garlic powder. All you do, I just make this up in advance. So when I do make a bigger batch, I probably put in, you know, 6 to 9 of each of the paprika and cumin, 6 to 9 half teaspoons, maybe even 12, depending on the size of my container. And then, so if it's 6, then I put in 4 of each of these. If it's 9, 1, 2, 3, I'll be doing 6 of these. For a moment. I was good at maths once. Okay, and all I do is just mix it up like this. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. So you can put this into a container of any size that you like. All good. You can make up a big batch in advance and have it there for all sorts of recipes. Now, I use this for all sorts of things. Anything that needs that sort of Mexican type flavour, and it's delicious. So I'm just going to add this to my beans now. How much comes down to taste. I usually like it. I usually really like a fair amount, so I'll probably put a couple of tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons, but just add it to, if you're making this, just add it to yours. Start with a couple of tablespoons. You can always add more, but you know, you can't take it out. You can start with a couple. And we're going to mix that in. Now watch for this, okay? So this is going to make the mixture a little bit dry, obviously. So you're going to have to keep an eye on your liquid in the pan itself. And I think we're going to need a little bit more lime juice, but I'm just going to leave it for a moment. Okay, other things I'm going to chuck in there. I love avocado, I love garlic. What did I say avocado for? Onion. I'm looking at an avocado. Onion, garlic, I love capsicum in there. Today I'm going to throw in some baby asparagus spears, some corn straight off the cob. And I think that'll be it today. I was going to get some green beans as well, but I didn't end up getting those. So how much onion? I don't like to overpower it with onion, but I'm going to put in about half an onion today. I had a little bit of red onion left over from another recipe, so I'm going to use that. Use that first. Just going to slice it up. Not too chunky, not too fine. And I'm using, I would normally use a white onion or yellow onion, but I'm using the red today because I'm not wasting food. I'm going to use it up before it goes bad. You can add whatever you want to this. You can add whatever sort of onion. If you don't like onion, you don't have to add onion. I love onion. Onion is wonderful for you. Now, a little rule of thumb with onion, and I learned this from Dr. B, Dr. Will Balsowitz, who wrote Fiber Fueled. He's a gastroenterologist, always a hard word to say. Don't try and say that fast. And he says, with garlic and onions, the key is to chop and stop. This is pretty old. Chop and stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop these. I probably should have chopped them first, actually, so that they had 10 minutes to wait. I'm going to chop these first, and I'm just going to leave them for 10 minutes. What this does is activate all of the healing properties, the healing enzymes. Oh, ooh, that one's actually not good either. I did buy a new clove. And here things starting to heat up over here. I'm just going to put that heat right down low and quickly add some more lime. And pretty tough. Good thing I'm still in my active gear, hey? How's everyone's Saturday going? Give me some, talk to me. Hello, hi Diane, hey Trisha, hey Alan. How's everyone, well, how's your Friday night going if you are in the north of the world? I had a birthday catch up last night, which was lovely. It's really nice to be able to see human faces in the flesh again. Okay, so a little bit more lime in there just to keep that going. You can also add just a little bit of water if you don't quite like the limey flavour so much, but you just want to keep that a little bit moist so that things don't get dry. And I like my flavours quite limey. Just peeling some garlic over here, putting it straight in my bin. How are we going over there? What's everyone saying? How's your, whoops. Yeah, how's your Friday night going, Elaine? How's life in your part of the world? Where are we at in terms of lockdown status? Are we socialising yet? Funny old world we live in, isn't it? Okay. I think everyone's over talking about COVID. I certainly am. Maybe I should shut up about it. Okay, so I also love garlic. Love garlic. Give me lots and lots and lots of garlic. So how many cloves? Whoops, throw it on the floor. That's cool. This is why it's plus work day to day. So we're going to do, I think I'm going to roughly chop about 3 cloves. So again, stop, chop and stop. Activate all those delicious enzymes for gut health. I don't know what enzymes they are. I'll have to go back and read Fibre Fueled again. Can't quite recall exactly which bits they are, but he's famous for saying that line. Chop and stop. If you haven't read Fibre Fueled, I highly recommend that you do. All right, if you've had any sort of digestive complaints, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you read this book. Also, if you have any other sort of health complaints, I highly suggest that you read this book too. You will really understand how your gut health is linked to the overall health of your body. Our gut health is critical in terms of the health of our body. We need to be feeding our body all these beneficial fibers that activate, that feed our good gut bacteria and activate, they produce short-chain fatty acids, which are like the healing miracle workers in our body. So really, really important that we're eating lots of these fresh whole plant foods. Stir. Okay, that's getting a little dry for me, so I'm going to add some water at this point. All right, stop and chop. Chop and stop. Okay, next I'm going to cut up some capsicum. Now I do like having a little bit of variety of colour in mine. I'm more of a fan of the yellow and red because they're a little bit sweeter rather than the green. I'm sorry for those of you in the north. Capsicum, they're peppers, obviously. And I love these beautiful, vibrant colours. We as human beings have a very different, well, our eyes work very differently to carnivorous animals like cats. Cats don't necessarily see these bright colours. They have, predator animals have eyes that are meant to see, really detect movement, and they don't really see in colour because for them, they don't need to see things in colour quite so much in order to be able to find their prey and, and survive. For us as human beings, we have eyes that really detect colour. And that is because, I guess for our survival, we needed to be able to see the brightness of our food, right? We don't need to detect movement, the slightest bit of movement. We don't need to see as well in the dark in order to find our food. Our food does not move. Our food does not run away from us. So we needed to be able to see these bright colours in order to know, that's the stuff that we need to be putting in our bodies for survival. And guess what? When we do put it in our bodies, we survive. We not only survive, we thrive. We're not just surviving, we are thriving. Okay, so I'm going to throw all of that straight in the pan. Try not to throw it on the floor. I'm just trying to be quick here. Vibrancy, colour. Now, other ingredients, like you can throw whatever vegetables in here that you want, okay? I like to get in as much variety as possible. Well, excuse me, sorry, hay fever is at an all-time high at the moment. It's fun time. It's spring over here. So we want to try and get in as much variety as possible into our food or into our diet. Variety of different types of plant foods, because each different type of plant has a slightly different type of fiber and fiber structure, and what that does is feeds a different variety of gut bacteria. And I want you to think of your gut environment like a rainforest. Well, the rainforests of old, as they used to exist, right? They were thriving with all sorts of different varieties of plants, flora and fauna, and they all needed to coexist for survival, basically. They all worked together for survival, and they thrive when they're able to survive together. Okay, so this is not even cooked, okay? We don't need to cook that first. It's just completely raw. We're going to cook that straight in the pan. Just cut it straight off in the pan. Just break it up. All good. Simples. So yeah, your gut needs to think of it like a rainforest. When you're feeding it lots of different varieties of plant foods, you're feeding it lots of different varieties of fibers, which is going to feed lots of different varieties of your gut bacteria. And when you have lots of different varieties of beneficial gut bacteria thriving in your gut, you produce a lot of short-chain fatty acids, those healing miracle workers in your body. And that is what produces tip-top health. So variety, 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 that's what I want you to think. So put as much as you can in here. What is next? What was I doing? Asparagus. So again, I'm not going to cook the asparagus. I won't use it all. I'm just going to chop them up into little pieces. So sometimes I also put in some green beans. I just chop them up into little pieces, probably the same size as corn kernels. You can also put in a bunch of chopped spinach, or I sometimes grate zucchini. Getting my words muddled. Zucchini or carrot. Just didn't want to go too overboard with things today. So we're just going to cut that up nice and small. And again, throw those in. Out. Throw those into the pan. And get that cooking. I'm not usually this messy. Right. So yeah, really just experiment with what you like. If there are vegetables that I'm using that you don't like, by all means, you do not have to add them. Choose your own versions. Beautiful. It's looking very colourful in there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add this onion and garlic into there as well. Yeah, right on the floor too. Why not? It's kind of a pity I don't have a dog. They'll be cleaning up my mess after me. All right. Whack it in the pan, and off we go. And we just want to cook this for long enough so all the vegetables are nicely cooked through together. Now, I'll be tasting that in a moment to see what it needs, but I can tell now it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. It's kind of like steaming the vegetables almost, instead of frying them, but instead you're steaming them in a real lemony, cuminy, paprika-ish flavour. It's like it sort of becomes like a bit of a stock. Sorry, not lemony, limey. Limey is, and then you got to see this colour. It's divine. Come over and have a look at my. Let's go to my kitchen. Okay, look at that. What do you reckon? How good does that look? Got all the colours of the rainbow in there. Okay, beautiful. So I know that we need some more lime in this. I just know it. One can never have enough lime. I'm going to try this again. Will it work? Just. Beautiful. And I suspect also that it's going to need a bit more of this, but I'll taste it first. Oh, definitely. I'm going to add another tablespoon. How much of this you use and how much lime you use will probably all depend on how big your total mixture ends up being, how many vegetables you add to it. Okay, it's beautiful. Okay, let's get that, turn that up now. Now that all the veggies are in there, and we'll get that cooking away. Does not need to cook for long. We're basically just wanting to make sure that things are cooked through. Okay, now clean up my bench a little bit. How you doing up there? You still watching me? Thanks, Diane. If you ever come over to Australia, knock on my door. You're literally watching me from my living room at the moment. My apartment is tiny. It's cozy. Alrighty, so next up, I'm going to make a guacamole. Now, if any of you have my free recipe download, 1, this Mexican bean recipe is in there, and 2, so is a guacamole. But I'm going to do a slightly different version because I found a different way that I actually like better. So think that the recipe in my guacamole recipe in my download has garlic in it. And as much as I love garlic, what I'm finding is I'm actually preferring it without the garlic. I like a little bit of onion in there. I put my coriander straight into there. Straight into the guacamole, and I put some tomatoes in there as well. So I'm really loving this version. What was that? Strange thing. Something sitting on my avocado. So who out there likes Mexican flavors? Actually, question for you all. What sort of foods do you like? I like making all sorts of stuff. But I obviously come back to my favorites time and time again. This is why I've got them in my little recipe download. I'm going to put all my favorite recipes that I make all the time in there. Ooh, shivers. So what do you like? I've got a ton more recipes that I can make for you. Obviously, I want them to be fairly quick because I don't want to take up all your time. So what do you like? And what can I potentially be bringing to this show more for you? Talk to me. Give me some ideas. What do you want to see? What do you want to learn how to cook? That I can make a whole food plant-based version of. Something I don't know. Oh, I'm going to have fun experimenting and working it out. Leave me a note in the comments. I'm keen to hear from you guys. Also, while you're watching, I'm having some ideas about more workshops. Yes, I will run the weight loss workshop again for you. I'm going to run that probably early in the new year, so hold tight on that. But I'm thinking about some other workshops too, with things that people I see sort of struggling with, and that could make great sort of 5-day workshops as well. And one of them is kicking the sugar addiction. What do you reckon about that one? Kicking your sugar addiction, or / whatever addiction or compulsion that you currently have. Like, this could apply to things like, say, binge drinking as well, like, or not even just binge drinking, like constant drinking, like drinking more than you want to, and you just want to be able to put it away. You don't identify as an alcoholic necessarily, but you don't want to feel this pull towards drinking all the time. Just like sugar, a little bit of sweetness in our life is fine, but feeling like you can't stop at one cookie, you've got to eat the whole packet, that is a compulsion. What is it that you struggle with out there that you think a great workshop, either a 1-day workshop or a 5-day workshop, would benefit? Now, I'm trying to do things like 5 days, so I split it up over 5 days, so that it works for all time zones. When I try and schedule in a workshop that might take a few hours over the different time zones, it gets a little bit ridiculous. So it makes it hard to work for everybody. Although I know that the 5-day wasn't necessarily working exactly for everybody too. But in terms of time zone, but let's not worry about that. You can always watch on replay. So let me know in the comments what you'd like there too. So I've got a couple of little avocados in here, and now I'm going to add some of these Solanato tomatoes. And again, just chopping them up nice and small, because I don't want big chunky pieces in there. I just want really small, a small flavour, small bits in there. You can also add tomatoes into the beans if you want to put tomatoes into the beans. I've done that in the past. You can also put your coriander into the beans. I also do that as well sometimes. All sorts of variety that you can do. Okay, so about 3 of those little tomatoes there. We'll see if that works. Yeah, we'll stop at that. We don't want to overpower the avocado. Got another little bit of this red onion left over. I think last time I used it, the red onion, it was for a guacamole. So I just want to cut some really fine slices here, and then I'm just going to chop them up nice and small. So I don't want that onion, the onion chunks or the flavour or anything to overpower it too much. But we definitely want to have a bit of an oniony flavour in there. And I think last time somebody, in terms of workshops, someone had requested doing a workshop on, I guess, like diet and disease, or the benefits of a whole food plant-based diet on various lifestyle diseases. So that can also be in the works. So what else would you like to see? What are the things that you are particularly struggling with at the moment that you like some help with? What can we be bringing you? Or you just want more recipes? Is there anything you're struggling with? That's what I want to know. How can I help? Let's be thinking about what we want versus what we don't. Okay, checking the beans again, making sure they're not dry. They are getting nicely cooked. I don't want these wet either, just so you know. I don't want these wet. I want a bit more lime flavour in those. And I want some lime in my guac as well. So we'll share this last. Oh, that's a juicy one. Nice. Look at that. Can you see that? Now that's what I call juicy. That's a juicy lime. I want my guac quite juicy. Quite limey. I love the flavour of lime. Goes quite nicely with a shot of tequila too. Delish. Okay, the other half over here. Mixing that in. Alrighty. Now, the other thing, it's about cooked. You don't even need to cook this mixture. You can make it cold as long as your beans are cooked, and you might want to. I mean, you can eat the corn straight off the cob, but you might want to cook that first, or you could just use like a little tin of corn. I do like to use it straight off the cob. So you don't even have to cook it. You can actually have it cold as well. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to put it all into a bowl. Just put it over here. Serve it all up later. I'm not going to eat it now, so I'm not going to serve it up now. But I want you to see it. You can also make some beautiful brown rice. So here we go. Here's my Mexican beans. My guacamole. See that? Beautiful, beautiful color. Oh, hang on, I forgot my coriander. Forget the coriander. Shivers. But you can also make, some brown rice, make it beans and rice. You could have it with the beans and rice. You could chop up some more tomatoes and have it as like a big beans and rice type experience. Or you could make a salsa as well, like a tomato salsa, and put that on the top. You can just get really creative with it. But this is just my basic Mexican bean recipe. Have it however you like. I today am going to serve it up. I think for lunch I'm going to have it in a wrap, and I think for dinner tonight I'm going to reuse it again, and then I'm going to have it with a big salad. So I'm going to throw a big bunch of spinach into a bowl, and then I'm going to add some more coriander to that as well, some chopped tomatoes, and then my beans and my guacamole. And in my wrap, I'm just going to have the beans itself. I'm going to put some spinach on the base of the wrap. I'm going to layer on the beans. I'm going to put some fresh coriander on the top, and then I'm going to put some guacamole on that as well. So mix it up, guys. Play with it. Like, have a few of these dishes as your bases, and then play with them. Make them your flavors. Oh, there we go. There we go. Got to have the coriander straight in here. And I think just a little bit more. If you're serving this up for other friends or family members who are not plant-based, and who can't put aside their dead animal products or their mammalian secretions, then and I've made this for my family many times. Well, they usually just have the beans. They don't usually need to have their meat with it. But if somebody does, they simply can't have it without their meat. You could cook some strips of something on the side and allow them to add it to their meal. For example, if you're having wraps or burritos or something like that, you could just allow them to add it to their portion. You could serve up all sorts of different ingredients onto the table and allow everyone to layer in their own ingredients. This is how we do Mexican meals when I'm back home with my family. So I'll make up the guacamole and the beans, and then the rest of my family, they'll have their sour cream and their cheese, because they simply can't have it without. So you don't need to make it a big deal that not everybody in your family eats the same way as you. Simply, if you've got other family members who just can't live without their animal products, then make your meal the base, make your meal the foundation meal, and then allow other people to layer in their other bits and pieces on top. So here we go, the final creation with clean hands, and it's good. Oh, can't wait. I'm just going to have this cold, by the way, when I have it. So here we go, beans and guacamole. And as I said, I'm going to have for lunch, I'm going to have a wrap, which is kind of like a burrito, but it's more open, so I don't close it and I don't cook it. I have my wholemeal, whole wheat, whole grain tortilla. I'll layer on some spinach on the bottom. I'll put my bean mix on. I'm going to put a little bit more coriander on, and then put some of my guacamole on that. And then later for dinner tonight, I was thinking about, it's such a hot day, I might have just a big cold salad. I'm going to put a big bunch of spinach in the bottom of the bowl. I'm going to chop some more of those solanato tomatoes. I may even make a little like a little salsa with some more garlic and what's it called? Onion. Getting my words here. Getting my words muddled. So make some of that, and then have some fresh coriander on top as well, and then have my like a dollop of avocado on the side, and mix that all in, and just have all the yummy flavors together. So so that is my Mexican beans, guys. Please, if you make it, let me know. I would really like to hear what you think of it. Now, how are we going with the comments before we finish up today? Oh my goodness, I can't see them all. Yay, Christine, putting on the next week's menu. Great. Elaine too. Beautiful. Yes, Christine, and for gut health too. Yes. Yes, definitely get the book Fiber Fueled if you haven't read it. It will teach you so much. I loved that book. I wish I had it on audiobook actually, because I could just absorb it time and time again. But I actually have it just on ebook. Alrighty, so yeah, variety of whole plant foods in your life as well is exactly what you want. And don't forget the chop and stop with garlic and onion. 10 minutes, that's all you need to do. Okay, some gut health, yep. Sugar addiction, beautiful. Binge eating, yep. The whole sort of sugar addiction thing, it probably applies to anybody who does have like binge eating issues as well. I've got a number of strategies outlined that I help people with, so that would be great. And if you actually need like some more long-term support with stuff like this too, please feel free to just book an appointment with me. Let's have a chat, see if I can actually help support you and help keep you accountable through the process of kicking these things, because it is a process. Like, there's not just one thing. You don't just do one thing in order to kick any of these addictions. There's all sorts of strategies that we use, from shifting your gut bacteria, working on the mindset, all sorts of things that we can be working on. Tapping into your identity. Who do you want to show up as in this world? Do you want to show up as somebody who struggles with what they put in their mouth, or do you want to be able to be somebody who has complete control over their choices in life? So, there's a number of strategies that we employ. If you want some help and support with that, please, don't wait for a workshop. It could be a few months away. If you want to kick it now, make an appointment with me, or just send me a DM. Let's have a chat. And by all means, let's get you kicking this stuff right now. All right, folks, that's it for me today. How long have we been going? What is the time? 45 minutes. Yep, and because I've been talking to you, it does take a little bit longer. I will probably make this in around about half an hour, if I'm just making it for myself and not for anybody else. And yes, it's such a warm day. We've got the flies in here. So I've got to get this put away so that the flies don't get to it. We'll do that now. Put that in my fridge. All right, so thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. And I will check the comments to see what other I guess menu ideas you guys are throwing out there for me. Otherwise, I'll tap into some of my favorite dishes as well, and just keep bringing those to you live. Probably once a month, if I've got the time to be bringing them to you more, I will. But I do want to be able to work on these workshops and bring interviews and all sorts of other things in between, and to be able to get everybody at the same time. Saturday morning, my time is usually the best time, so I've only got one of those every week. So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me today. It was wonderful having you. And we'll see you again soon. Ciao for now. Okay, ending this. Bye.